Hey guys, and welcome back to the Ramble. I am your humble hermit host, Maria Legier, grumpy in the morning as always. And this is Lavish Lifestyle Enabler. Lying spread-eagled in front of the feet of mercy and of justice, tipping the scales of justice luminaries, two penny-pinching strands of hair from the judge and her sorority hammer, said the glum-spoilt woman softly spoken. But, your honour, I'm used to this lavish lifestyle supplied by his sizable income. Please see link. Say no more, the justice luminary drooled and dribbled, spoon-feeding the pig-like beast of justice legionnaire at her breast with nails and spikes and sulphuric acid, turning the pig-like beast swollen, red, inflamed. A boom bubble set to burst when thrown straight at the brainstem of the magnificently malicious man standing there, justice fencing the glum-spoilt woman armed with a pair of tits, some unbalanced scales and a shield the shape of a remarkably expensive pussy. Please see link. The malicious man, armed with nothing but being unwed and shielded with nothing but never even living together, wearing the elusive armor of we ain't even got children together, pesky items though they were, came to the battle pre-gagged, partly blinded, and with both arms tied behind his back on account of gynocentrism and, presumably, androphobia. The strong, powerful and independent women of the world, sure as filtered fuck, need a male provider and protector in their lives. Even when he, by choice, no longer is in their lives. Fish, it transpires, are in desperate need of bicycles, according to the hysterically screeched orders pouring from the labia of the great quivering pussy in the sky. This is as expected and as it should be. To even the playing field, so that she is guaranteed to win and he is guaranteed to lose. To even the playing field by privileging one at the expense of the other. To even the playing field by making us unequal in front of the pig-like beast of the law. Equality, we have come to learn through the thought virus of feminist wailing alongside the partially blinded banshee howls of the justice legionnaires, does not mean treating everybody equally. That would be such a ridiculous notion. That would be preposterous. 'Cause we ain't the same and we ain't equal and so should not be treated equally, except when it suits the powers that be, and so we cannot expect that we should be treated the same. Particularly not when existing in that most oppressed state of being known as woman. As such, in this pestilent asbestos light of our great and glorious reset, insufferable rhetoric much akin to the Great Leap Forward known from Maoist China, but I digress, this is equality as pondered and as promised by the ones who change the definitions and the meanings of words with the same frantic frequency as a germaphobe with obsessive-compulsive disorder would change his socks. Women are incapable and handicapped by virtue of their gender, as stated by their wondrously enabling champions. As such, they deserve. What they deserve depends upon the time of day and the mood and the menstrual cycles and whatever else. What they deserve is not as important as the knowledge that they deserve. And the pig-like beast of justice legionnaire see no qualms in giving them that which they deserve, no matter what it is that they deserve at that moment and in that time and in that headspace belonging to that head case. After all, they are strong and independent victims who don't need no supporting wheels on those bicycles that fish don't need. The fish may not exactly need the bicycles, yet it is remarkably evident that they crave some bicycles, with supporting wheels. Such is fairness in the halls of the Justice Legionnaires and its pig-like beast, for equality before the law no longer means what it usually means, and so too does the law of the land no longer represent the law as the law stands. The law has become subject to subjective opinion by people who are, objectively speaking, absolute teeth-lying assholes. As such, the law is open to harsh, lurid, emotional interpretations. Now being read and pondered in much the same way as one would read dense allegorical poetry with no absolute meaning concrete, no interpretation set in stone. Equal treatment and fairness, one comes to understand, means whatever the harrowing hatefuck equal treatment brigades demand that it means in that moment. What does any of this have to do with supposed equality, you might ask? To which a rhetorical question is in order. Do you honestly believe such a judgment as the man in the case linked has met with would be put upon the shoulders of a woman? Do you honestly believe a man would be entitled to a woman's resources in this way? One can usually twist and turn the law and the equality platitudes to fit some preconceived idea. To point the lactic acid finger of a glum-spoilt woman scorned for not agreeing to a marriage due to refusing the prenuptial contract straight at the wicked heart of the malicious and malignant man who paid for her existence for years, enabling gold-digging all the while. What a strange existence that must be, to be paid solely for her company and little else. To, in essence, be paid in riches purely for existing. What a grand and glorious achievement, to be sure, to be something remarkably akin to an escort or a high-class prostitute. That they weren't married, weren't living together, had no children together makes no matter. Nope. It matters not at all when facing down a justified justice luminary whose allegiance lies with the sisterhood and not with the expectancy that the law should be lawful, that justice should be just, whose allegiance lies with her fellow woman scorned more so than it does with the actual honest-to-gunk-and-goo law such as the law is. It is difficult to not smell the bullshit stench of female in-group preference. Nothing matters, except the feelings of the woman. As such, it most certainly appears. Nothing matters but the sisterhood. Nothing matters much but the justice granted to the pussy and the power of said pussy, flowing from the pussy which, one comes to learn, wields an awesome and awe-inspiring amount of power. The value of pussy has been steadily increasing these past couple of years. The charts are off the fucking charts. Now, it seems that the value of pussy lies at a decent $600,000 a year for 10 years. This is not counting the money spent prior to these 10 years. A strange and peculiar way to pay, but that's what happens every single bloody time one is stupid enough to put forth a down payment when the goods are not guaranteed to arrive whole, unspoilt, or sane. Much like investing in a Sarkeesian Kickstarter, come to think of it. It may look good in the beginning, and then the cracks and the failure to deliver is evident. It is a sham and a fraud, and I don't much care for the direction our societies are going. Not that my thoughts on the matter matters. As long as women can get free shit for being women, it's all good and quite alright. Most peculiar. The strong and independent whammons cannot get a job, but is reliant on a man to support them with far, far, far more than is needed to live, even post-relationship. Women, I have come to realize through the wailing of the feminist hordes, are simultaneously fiercely independent and self-destructively dependent. Personally, I happen to believe women to be far more capable than their eternal victimhood screechers would have us believe, but that would probably be mansplaining, so I'll refrain from commenting on that. Breaking down gender roles one tactical assault victim at a time, as long as men remain as providers and protectors in the social game where the rules are rigged and ever stacked against them. This is the New Age woman according to their champions. A remarkable beast with no concrete shape or form, constantly in flux between this and between that. A shape-shifter who don't ever know what she wants, but who sure as hell knows how to get it. This New Age woman is Schrodinger's strong and independent woman. One cannot be certain about the state of her dependence or her independence before opening her box and checking, preferably a few times just to be on the safe side. And so alimony must be paid to keep her living lavishly as she was accustomed to on account of his rather stupid and naive generosity. This despite no legal contract binding them together in the whips and thongs and chains of holy matrimony, despite no children but hers from some previous entanglement with another malicious male for which she apparently also was paid. There seems to be some particularly patriarchal pattern of woman-hating here, but I just can't see it. Despite no cohabitation but the occasional sleepovers and vacations. Sleeping over and living in the same place whilst on vacation now counts as cohabitation. Remarkable. With this mental gymnastics in place, she is still entitled to his resources for 10 motherfucking years. For they did live together on occasion, even when not living together such as us mere mortals would know it. It is astonishing, though not at all surprising really. Contributing nothing financially, she deserves to be forever taken care of financially. Anything else would be misogyny and woman-hating evils of the most male supremacist sort. Probably something to do with white supremacy as well, why not? Just throw it all into the mix, blend it until it bleeds inconsistencies, and then devour it with a side serving of cognitive dissonance resting atop a bed of mental gymnastics. Leeches will leech. Parasites will feed on the host, stealing resources and energy. And this is quite alright and a-okay. You see, removing the parasite is an act of unimagined curly-toed cruelty. Not feeding the parasite with one's own lifeblood is to be considered as cruel and unusual punishment most severe, and so must be punished even more severely with a steady flow of blood from the host to the parasite, even post-removal of the parasite. Does not the parasite also have a right to live, to life, to thrive? Since the life of the parasite is dependent upon its host, it is what it is. Can't do nothing about that, sir. Now, pay up. That's just a way of nature, sir. Kindly open your veins for this monthly payment. We'll come back for more later on. Each month. For 10 years. And the pig-like beast of immaculate justice squeals and squirms and spits and shivers in the arms of the illuminated justice luminary, setting precedents for further cases of a woman scorned when his resources get lost to her. And so, tangled in the web of libido and of lies lies she, spread beneath the breeding banner of his resources, digging for gold with all the precision of a homing pigeon, more or less admitting to being a high-end prostitute. For sure, that is what it seems to be. For the privilege of seeing her, the price must most surely be paid, and her class of woman don't come cheap. Don't you worry, little girl, Daddy will provide. The Judas judge hath spoken. The truth is come and shown, and now we know the truth. Men are never safe from the rape of divorce court, no matter what precautions men may take. Not being married is no longer enough to keep the ravages of divorce proceedings at bay. Incredibly illuminating. Relationships, you see, have become a luscious money-making scheme for shameless serpents utilizing full-body hypnosis, selling pussy to the highest bidder. Preferably if the price of pussy is such that it can be paid time and again like a monthly subscription service, even post-pussy abandonment. Any precautions be damned. Don't matter, no worry. Never matter, no mind. Generosity is to be punished. Gentlemen, take note. Always split the bill. Always share the financial burdens of a relationship as evenly as possible. Don't ever pay for shit if you don't get shit. Reading comments to this case, one sticks out the most to me, or well, one argument, not one comment in particular. It goes something like this. He is filthy rich, so he is able to pay. I don't feel sorry for him. Which is a great argument, obviously. Allow me to counter it with another argument of much the same finesse and cleverness. The moon is up there above us somewhere. He shouldn't pay. I don't feel sorry for her. And then it is said that she quit her job so that he should provide for her, and so she is still entitled to his money. Yet, I wonder, was she forced to quit her job? Again, it begs the question. Are women incapable of doing anything of their own free will? Sure seems like it. Women are such frail victims that all their acts and all their actions are dictated by someone else. Not a particularly empowering message, but if it is hidden behind enough gobbledygook, it seems empowering on the face of it. Having no agency and not needing to take responsibility is such magnificent empowerment. In eternal victimhood lies the eternal path towards irresponsibility. 'Twas the patriarchy that done did it, sir, not I, never I. Are women really this incapable of taking responsibility for their actions and their lives? The answer seems to be yes. Women are to be considered just as helpless and dependent as children, not yet mature enough to be trusted to make their own decisions and take responsibility for themselves. This is a terrifying thing for sure, and it is a remarkably debilitating way of navigating the world, a view of women which I really don't condone or agree with. And one would not, one supposes, be the only one struck by a stray thought or two regarding this strange case. One would not, one assumes, be the only one whose thinking twists certain things within this case upon its head. Her lifestyle shall not be altered on account of the breakdown of the relationship, say the pig-like beast of Justice Legionnaire. She is used to this, and so she must continue to have this, despite there apparently being no legally binding anything to grant her this, except her pussy and her tits, one assumes. Both of these two sexual characteristics serve as a powerful shield, a lawful contract in their own right. Never underestimate the gynocentrism of society, culture, the law, and most obvious of all, the family courts, and of men in general. Oh yes, men in general are just as complicit in this as anything else is. Since she is entitled to his money and resources for quite some time post-relationship on account of her being used to living like this, why should he not also have something which he has become accustomed to? I propose that twice a month for 10 years, in order for him to not lose anything from his life that he has grown accustomed to, she must come over to his place and suck his dick the first week of the month, then fuck him senseless the last week of the month, each and every month for 10 years. It is not too much of a stretch of the imagination to conclude that he has grown accustomed to at least the occasional fuck and the occasional blowjob. With this in mind, it really isn't fair that he shall go without this part of his previous lifestyle simply because the relationship is no longer there. It's obvious, really. Poor guy. And that, I think, was that for this ramble. I hope you enjoyed it more than my previous ramblings. Thank you very much for listening. Please check out the links down below. Like, share, subscribe and all that other fine and dandy stuff. And I'll catch you next time. This is Maria Leger, signing off.